Hello everyone, welcome back to MalStorm Gaming. My name is Gardner, and today I'm going to be starting my playthrough of Puzzle Dungeon by Brian Garber. I hope you all enjoy the video.
Alright, so the first step to setting up Puzzle Dungeon is selecting your character. And I have quite a few characters here, but there are quite a few more that I do not have that are in the Kickstarter Deluxe Edition. But even if you have the normal retail version, you have quite a few characters here. So I'm going to take the Illusionist, and then these ones will not be used for this game, so I can just put those away. And then you're going to choose if you'd like to play it on normal difficulty or hard difficulty, which has that skull symbol right there. And hard is sufficiently harder. So I'm just going to do normal for this playthrough, and then I'll set that down. Then I'm going to shuffle up my arsenal deck, and this deck has 4 suits in it, and each suit has a 0, as well as numbers 2 through 8 in it. So there's 32 cards amongst 4 suits. And after this is all shuffled up, I'm going to set this right next to my character for now. Alright, then there is this deck of 20 monsters. Now this is double-sided. On one side is the normal monster, and then on the other side is the boss monster that has this crown here. So these are called kings. And these are more powerful versions of the other side. And then you're going to shuffle these up, and then you're going to deal them out into 4 columns in 5 rows. And you're going to do all this with the king side face down, so the normal side is face up. So we'll do that. And now the last thing we need to do is we draw our starting hand and deal out 6 cards into our starting arsenal, which is right here. So that's 5, 7, 7. All right, 4, 5, and then 6, and then we draw 6 cards as well into our starting hand. And then we are all set up and ready to play. Now, Puzzle Dungeon is a single-player game where you're just going to be playing against the game, and you're just going to be taking action one after another, and the enemy does not actually take a turn. There's no player phase, then enemy phase. It's just you, and then you, and then you. You're just going to be taking action after action until either you win or lose. So, how you win Puzzle Dungeon is by defeating a certain number of these monsters out here based off of which characters you selected. So, the Illusionist requires us to defeat 3 green humanoids, 3 blue magic type creatures, and then 2 red terror creatures. Each monster has a bit of information on it. You have a name right here, and then the monster type here. So this is a blue monster, and this can be one of the 3 blue monsters that we need to defeat to win the game. Then they show the cards down here that you need to discard. So we need to discard 2 swords and then 2 wands. And that can be either from our arsenal or our hand. Cards from our hand can be discarded freely. So we don't need to, there's no special rules about this. We can just pick any 2 cards, any card from our hand and discard it to get in suit. So we could discard this wand and then these 2 swords. We need 1 more wand, but there's no special rules. The arsenal is slightly more restrictive. With the arsenal, you can only discard the card to the furthest to the right, which is this 6 of swords here. You cannot discard this card all the way over here until we have discarded these cards here. So it's harder to get cards into your hand, but the cards in your arsenal, where while they're easier to get, they are less powerful because they are a little bit more restrictive. You can't just pick any card from your arsenal like you could for your hand. Alright, so like I said, you're just going to be taking action after action until you win or lose. Now, to win, we need to defeat these monsters. To lose, we lose if we run out of all the cards in our deck and we cannot perform any more actions, which would be attacking and then dealing. So let's start by dealing. When you deal, you're just going to take the top card of your deck and place it in your arsenal to the furthest to the right here. And again, you can only play the card that is to the furthest to the right. So when you're dealing, you're going to get a random card, and if I put it on top of this 6 here, if it isn't something I could use, then I won't be able to use that sword until that card is removed. So you need to be a little bit careful with that. You don't want to just do that too willy-nilly, and that could stop you from doing what you want to do. The second action is the fighting action. So you can attack any monster in the front row. So we can attack this witch, minotaur, dragon, or ratman. When you attack a monster, you are going to discard cards that have these suits. So 2 sword cards and then 2 wand cards, like I mentioned earlier. After you defeat a monster, you are going to be able to gain this loot ability right here. So for this one, it is you may discard 3 cards from your hand. If you do, defeat the front monster of any column. So when we defeat this witch, we can discard 3 cards from our hand, and then we can defeat a second monster, regardless of discarding any special suits. We also can place the defeated monster in our defeated monster stack, and at any time we can exhaust this monster, turning it 90 degrees to gain the suit listed up there. So we could exhaust the witch to gain a hand, which would allow us to defeat other monsters that require hands a little bit more easily. The last bit of information that we need to worry about is our character cards. So we have some abilities here. First, when you defeat a monster using doubles, put the bottom card of the discard pile on the bottom of the deck. So, what that ability says is if we discard 2 cards with the same value, such as these 2 3s right here, to defeat a monster, we get to take the bottom card of the discard pile, which is over here, and put it at the bottom of the deck. And again, if we run out of cards in the deck, we can't deal, and if we run out of available monsters to defeat with the cards we have, we lose. So you do not want to run out of cards because that is going to be the main loss condition. So this ability would allow us to kind of offset that a little bit and slow down the progress of us burning through that 32 card deck. Then we have this trophy ability. So draw any card in the arsenal. So cards in our hand we can use however we like, and in whatever order we want. Cards in the arsenal we can do from right to left. With this ability, it allows us to take a card from our arsenal and add it to our hand, making us be able to use it whenever we like, however we like. But we can't just do this whenever we want. We have to get a trophy first. Now, how we get trophies are by defeating monsters that are not listed here. For example, this ghost is a pink monster, which those are the undead monsters, and that is not a monster type that is listed here. If we defeat a monster that is from a type that is not listed on our character card, it counts as a trophy, which will give us an extra ability listed here. So draw any card from the arsenal. We can do that whenever we defeat a monster that is not one of these colors right here. So this pink ghost is not something that is on our card, so it's a trophy. Alright, so let's start by taking our first action. So we can look at our hand. We have 3 swords, 1 hand, 1 helmet, and 1 wand. And then we also have a sword we can use, so we're pretty flexible right now. Now, looking at that witch, I actually think that would be a good idea to try to defeat her. So we need 2 swords and 2 wands. Now, we can take the sword from here, and then we can take this wand, because now this is the furthest to the right, and then we can take this wand, because this is now the furthest to the right, and then we need 1 more sword. So we can look in our hand for this last sword, and I will take this 5. And so now we have 2 swords and 2 wands, which is what we need to defeat this monster. So we can discard all these cards, and we can discard them in any order, which, from our ability, that puts the bottom card of the discard pile at the bottom of the deck. It can matter. Right now, it's not going to matter that much. I'll just discard it in this order. But if we wanted a specific card, we could discard it in a special order. You know what? Actually, in fact, I will alternate them like this. Which, yeah, I'll do that. After you discard cards, you cannot change the order. So now that they're in the discard pile, I cannot change the order of the discard pile unless I have an ability that specifically allows me to do that. Which is why it's important to think about it sometimes when you are initially discarding them, because you can't change your mind afterwards. Alright, now we can get our ability here. So I can discard 3 cards from my hand to defeat a monster for free. That's pretty powerful, so I think I'm going to try to do that. So I will discard... I think I'm going to discard these 3 cards. Alright. And then these are going to go into my discard pile. And then I can defeat a monster for free, pretty much. Now, it's not exactly for free, but I can defeat a monster without having to spend any additional cards. So, I think that I will defeat this goblin right here. Alright, so this goblin, normally to defeat this, we'd have to discard a sword, 2 wands, and a helmet, but because of the witch's ability, we do not need to do that. We've already discarded 3 cards, and then we can discard up to 3 cards from the arsenal. For each card you discarded, draw a card. So I could discard cards from here, burning my deck a little bit quicker, but then I'd have more flexibility because I have cards in my hand. I think let's see. I think that I will not do that. I think I'm going to let that slide. Now we're going to check for trophy abilities. So we defeated a blue and a green monster, and those monsters are listed on the card, so those are not trophies. Then we're going to take these 2 monsters and set these in our victory pile, and then we'll have a hand and a wand there for use. Alright. Next up, I think that I'll try to take down this cultist. So this cultist, it's a blue monster, and we need 2 more blue monsters. We've already defeated 1, so then this could be one of the other 2 that we need. We need 1 of everything. So I will discard this sword and this wand, and then this helmet, and then this hand. Alright, so that is all of that. That's all we need to defeat him. Then, since we discarded 2 7s, that's a double. So the bottom card of our discard pile, which is a 5 of swords, can go at the bottom of our deck. Alright. Then we can resolve this fight. So, discard up to 2 cards from your hand. Draw 2 cards for each card you discarded. Now, I actually have no cards in my hand, so I can't discard any more cards, but I could discard cards from my hand to draw more cards. Alright, then I'm going to take this and place it over here. Now we just need to defeat 1 more blue monster. So we're making progress. Alrighty then. So, I think, I have no cards in my hand. I have 1 card here, so I can't do anything at all. Although I do have these 3 here, so I have a sword, a wand, and a hand. But I do think I'm going to deal, so I'll deal a card and place this to the furthest to the right. And that's a wand. Alright. So, I think I will deal another card. That's another wand, okay. Well, let's see, what do I want to do here? I do think I want to deal another card so I can defeat some people. Alright, so now, that's a hand. So let's see. I kind of want to defeat this Minotaur because it allows us to. You may shuffle and deal the monsters into 4 columns. So this allows us to re-deal the monsters. We need 2 hands, so we have 1 hand here and 1 hand here, and then we have wands. We have a wand here. We need a helmet, and we don't have any of those available. So we could continue dealing, or I could try to defeat another monster. There's nothing else we actually could defeat. Oh no, we could actually defeat this automation. 1 sword, 1 wand, and 2 hands. Allows us to shuffle the top 3 cards of the discard pile into the deck, then we can draw another card. This would be a trophy monster because it's not a required monster. Which our ability there would allow us to draw any card in the arsenal. Let's see. So I could try dealing, but if the card I draw, a place right here, is not something we want, that would lock down these cards. Let's see. Doing that automation would be pretty good. Or we could try pushing to defeat the Minotaur look we want. I will take down the automation. So we'll discard a hand, a wand, and then we need a sword and another hand. And those will come in the form of exhausting this cultist, and then this witch, to get everything we need. So now, these are going to be placed in our discard pile. We can shuffle the top 3 cards of the discard pile into the deck, and then we can draw a card. So, we take these top 3 ones, and then we're going to shuffle this into our deck, then we draw a card. And then that is a trophy monster, because it is a construct, which is gray, and that is not one of the monster types we needed to defeat, which would allow us to draw any card in the arsenal. For doing that, so then I'm going to draw a card, and it is a wand, and then we're going to place this over here. Yeah, and then I'm going to take this card into my hand, resolving this ability down here. Alright, so let's see. Can we defeat the Minotaur now? No, we cannot, because we used our hands, so let's deal and see what we get. It is a helmet. Okay. Alright, so this vampire over here, this needs 2 wands and 2 helmets, and allows us to draw any 2 cards in the discard pile. So that would be very good to get. And it is a terror, which is, we need 2 terrors to get that, so let's try doing this. So, I can discard a helmet and a wand, and then for my second helmet, I can do that, and then my second wand, I can do this. So, that is everything we need. I'll discard them in that order. Oops. And then I get this, so I can draw any 2 cards in the discard pile. Right here then. So, I'm going to draw, let's see. I'll take a hand and a helmet. So those are the cards I'm going to take. And actually, I'm going to put this back, and I'll take this 5. Because that will then mean that we have 2 5s, which is a double. And will trigger our hero's ability. So I will deal, and it's a helmet. Okay. If we get 1 more hand, we can defeat this Minotaur, so I'll deal again. Oops, sorry about that. And it is what we need. So I can defeat this Minotaur. So I will exhaust the vampire for this wand. I will take this hand, and then this helmet, and that will allow us to defeat the Minotaur. And wait, that's a double. So that will take the bottom card of the discard pile, which is a 0 of wands, and that'll go at the bottom of this deck. So now our deck is even larger. Alright, so we can shuffle and deal the monsters into 4 columns. And then I'll place that over here. So now we take everything, and I'm going to shuffle this up and redeal it. And this will hopefully give us a pretty good orientation. Alright, so 1, 2, 3, and 4. Let's move that down. Alright, so just look at this first row here that we dealt. Nothing here is actually what we need. So we don't need any of these monsters, which is really good because now these monsters are going to be buried by the monsters that we do need to defeat. So, like this dragon, this werewolf, this mutant, this lich is not something we need. So this is a pretty good deal. Alright, so there's no more cards, so these ones are only going to have 3 and these are going to have 4, but that is okay, as long as we go left to right, dealing them as evenly as we can. So if we look here, this last column has 2 pink monsters and a gray monster, so there's nothing in this column that we need to worry about, which is good. We can focus on these 3 columns here. Alright, so I think that I will try to take out the Ratman or the animated weapon. So I'll deal a card, see what we get. Alright, so this is a sword. For both of those monsters, we do need to have a second helmet, so I think I'll try dealing again. And a hand, okay. I think I will deal again. See what we get. Alright, it's another hand. Alright, that makes things interesting. Okay, we still need 2 helmets to defeat this. Yeah, we need a lot of helmets. That's what we're lacking. So let's try again. We're getting a lot of hands. There are helmets in this deck, just not coming up. Okay. I think we want to go for something else then. But is there anything else we can do right now? No. There's nothing we can beat. So we just have to keep on drawing until we draw something that will allow us to defeat a monster. So 1, that's different. It's another thing. Well, we still can't beat anything, so we're going to have to deal again. I can't beat anything. I really need a helmet. So let's draw again. This is taking a south turn. This isn't very good. Well, it's kind of a low note, but I think this is where I'm going to stop this episode, and next week we'll pick up where we left off, and hopefully we can still win. But for now, thank you so much for watching, and I hope you all have a great day. Happy gaming!